I don't know why following God needs to be so hard all the time, but it seems to me that God doesn't actually want to make it easy for us. Sitting here waiting for my daughter, Elizabeth, picking her up from school today, and just thought I'd have just a few minutes here just to share a couple of thoughts. Like, my wife and I, we've been married 18 years now. In the 18 years we've been married, we've lived in 12 or 13 different places. Like, we moved a lot. That's a lot of moving. It's like we average a move every year and a half or something like that. It's kind of something that's been really uncomfortable for the both of us. One of the things that we did not anticipate, and I don't think we could have anticipated, when we were planting our second church, my wife got pregnant with our youngest daughter, Elizabeth. But what we didn't realize was that Carrie was going to have some medical complications, and it was really, really difficult because, you know, we were trying to plant a church, our second church at that time, and then pregnancy, and then health, and we were worried about Elizabeth and if she was going to come out okay because of all these different things going on. And we didn't know. We just didn't know what God had in store. During that time, we prayed and wrestled with God. And we asked God, why are you allowing this to happen? We followed you, we listened to you, and it's led to this difficult situation. I thought that if we were to follow you, things are supposed to get better, not harder. God, what are you doing? Like, where are you? Why are you allowing this to happen? And we really wrestled with our faith through that season. But for those of you who know my daughter Elizabeth, you know that she's the most energetic, playful, active girl that you'll meet. She sings and she dances and she just brings so much joy into our family.
It's a motto. What's a motto? Nothing. What's a motto we do? Hakuna Matata. These two girls solve all your trouble. That's right. Why, when he was a young warthog, when I was a young warthog, he found his normal life a certain appeal. He could clear the savannah after every meal. And the sense is so, though I see thick skin. And as her, that my tragic doors stood down. Ah, the shame! Me was a shame! Gotta change my name! Oh, what's the name? And a goddamn pirate! How did you feel? Every time that... Not in front of the parents. Oh, sorry.
Looking back, it was just a real difficult time. We thought it was a real difficult time, but coming through the end of it, we see God's hand, how He was purposeful and intentional, and how much joy that He brings. Oftentimes you don't see what God is doing. You don't know what He's up to and how He's going to fix the situation or develop the situation while you're in it. You just don't know. And while you're in it, the best thing to do is just to trust, because what other choice do you have? I mean, it's either you trust God or you trust in your own limited knowledge. I mean, what other choice do you have? It's easy to follow God when it requires no faith, when you know everything is going to turn out well, when it leads to the same circumstances that you would choose for yourself anyways. It's easy to follow God in those circumstances. But if you really want to experience and see God do greater things in your life, you have to begin this journey of faith. I'm sitting here reading from 1 Kings chapter 17, and it's a story of Elijah, and it's kind of an uncomfortable section of the scripture because Elijah, even though Elijah is a person that God has chosen to use and to bless, God actually takes him through a rough journey. God took Elijah on a very specific path, and it was a path of with lots of ups and downs and lots of challenges and lots of stretching moments. And you can't experience and you can't be used by God in the same way that God used Elijah if you're unwilling to go on the same journey and path that God took Elijah through. God's in the business of developing our character, and he's in the business of shaping us and molding us and building our faith. And a lot of times how that has to happen is that he has to take us through difficult circumstances. And we see that in following God, that it involves saying yes to God even when God asks us to do difficult things and things that do not make sense. God is very intentional. He has a purpose for every trial, every test of our faith, every challenge that he puts in our way. There's a purpose, there's a reason for it. During those times of stretching and anxiety and problems, we shouldn't be asking the questions, why God? What's the purpose? Why are my problems so tough? Why does this always have to happen to me? That's not the question that you should be asking. The question that we should be asking is, God, what are you teaching me? God, what are you trying to say to me? God, what do you want me to learn from this? So the question is this: will you still follow God when he changes the plans on you? Will you still follow him when he asks you to do difficult things? Will you still trust in God when things just do not make sense? Will you follow God even when he asks you to go someplace that is uncomfortable? If you want to experience God doing greater things in your life, this is the path that you have to be willing to go on.